So we do all this talking about Google and how to get ranked on Google. And there's a core component to all of it, which is the content that we put up on the website. So it continues to be a situation where I'm always trying to explain to people what they need to do, and I don't think everybody gets it. So what we ended up doing was I actually came up with a way to try to teach this. So when Google looks at a website, they start to decide what that website is based on some attributes that you assemble on a page. The main thing that they look at is the navigation of the page. So if yours says home, services, about us, and blog, what have you told Google?
Those are the key points of the website?
Yeah, those are not key points. Home, if they actually say the words home, services, blog, and about us, that tells them actually nothing. Now, he does IT services. So if he put home, IT services, blog, about us, then what would Google assume the website's about?
IT services.
IT services,
Right.
okay? So that navigation becomes our guiding principle to everything we do. So we have to first understand that piece. So the first thing that I've told everybody to do is to come up with a mind map of what your website should look like, okay? And when you do that mind map, you're Abby. Are you Abby for 50, over 50,
No.
Abby for under 50, Abby for millennials? What Abby? Which Abby are you?
We would be Abby for under 50. We're more of the affordable Abby.
You're the
We're
affordable
the,
Abby.
out of all of 15, we're the affordable
You're the
Abby.
affordable Abby.
We are the market for the people who don't want to pay the lot. They still want a decent area. That's
Okay.
what we are.
All right. So when you set up your website, when you look at your website, and you may have a national firm working with you, so you're going to have some problems with
Right.
this. And Georgia, I may rely on you pretty heavily for this.
Okay.
So when he does, and you do accounting, you said? Okay. What kind of accounting?
Taxes. Compliance.
Let's narrow that down a little bit. Business taxes,
Business
personal
and individual.
taxes. Do we do tax problems with the IRS? What?
Tax
Help me out
liens,
here.
Tax compliance, audits, representation. All of
Okay.
You get you out
So
of trouble.
what he's doing is he's listing his services down that column, under that column. So you put tax help as your top category, and then those columns those words that you just gave me are what
Sub-
each of those are, and they are subtopics. Everybody should have that on their website. Okay. In your case, we did it on properties and property locations. That's why that's broke out. So he sells real estate on one website that we're doing. On that, we did Houston, we did Cy Fair, we did Humble. We broke out all the places you go, and then we even went further down and drilled down into it. So there's a drill down and a structure. So this is where the jump off for the content is going to begin. All right? If you don't have a structure, you're screwed from this point forward. So everybody needs to focus on how we're going to do that first. All right? But once we have that, what you're basically doing is setting up what I'm going to call for today the core concepts of your website. And what those core concepts are going to be are keywords that are going to need to be introduced on pages that we write. Now that might sound new to you, but that's nothing I've ever said to you before. And here's why. So we're going to start, if anybody's ever seen a sitemap, okay, it has the top level, and then it breaks out bubbles a little bit further and a little bit further, and it gives you top level, sub level, sub level. Okay, if you see this navigation here, instead of saying services, and this goes for you, Mr. Taxman, I went web design, web hosting, digital marketing. That's top level. So you're going to have taxes for individuals, taxes for business, and probably tax issues, I would say would be your third category. So that's my top level, okay, for his website. The next thing that I did is then I had to come down and say who has something to break out of it. Well, web design really didn't have anything. Web design is web design. Web hosting had domain registration, web hosting plans, and support links. So it doesn't have a lot. But when I get to the digital marketing line, it's got about 20 subtopics underneath it. All right. But you see how I have it bundled? I have topic, subtopic, and then I have subtopic. And we've talked about this quite a bit over time. This is not anything new to anybody that's heard me for a while, but for you guys that are new, that I need you to understand. So is everybody with me on we have to have a structure, and that's what a structure looks like. So the next thing I had to do was, now that I knew what my structure was, what would the next logical thing be to do?
Build pages.
Build pages. That's exactly right. So I'm going to tell you that there is 4 distinct page types no matter what website we're talking about. And that's kind of what I've never been able to articulate to you guys, is when to pull what trigger. I'm actually going to tell you today what those 4 page types are and what the parameters of each and every one of those page types should be. Okay? So, you with me?
Yes.
All right. So the first thing we have that we come to is the topic level. Okay? And the topic level needs to have some planning to it. Very, very careful planning needs to be added on a topic level. Okay? What we have to do is decide what the subtopics are that are underneath it. Because what I need to do is write a page that facilitates being a table of contents from the topic level to the subtopic level. What you see is I wrote a page that incorporated every aspect of what the rest of that category is going to be. You'll see them there. I put residential movers, apartment movers, office movers, commercial, long distance, and packing services. Okay? So when I wrote this page, its sole purpose was to be written as a cover sheet for all my subtopics. So when I say write a topic or write a topic page, which you've heard me all use that vernacular before, what it needs to do is have these attributes to it. If it doesn't have these attributes, then it really isn't a topics page. Okay? The topics page has to be 895 words. If you are underneath that, it is not recognized as being a topics page. Okay? 895. That's the word count I want on that. So, the next thing you have to look at is, how many times do I use the keyword? So in this particular instance, what is the keyword?
Moving.
No.
Services.
Moving services. Those 2 words together make my keyword. All right? Keywords can be 1 word, it can be 3 words, it can be a phrase of words, but it should be the word that you want to rank on the most, that's going to bring you the most amount of money. All right? In this case, I want to rank on moving or mover. Okay? So I went with moving services. All right? And actually, when I go home, I'm going to probably change that to mover services, because mover is probably the better term. Okay? And then I had to place that word inside that page 1% at a time. So if I just told you that page should be 895 words, how many times should that word be there?
8.95.
8.95. So there's no such thing as 8.95. So you're going to round down, not up. Never round up. All right? Because when you round up, what happens when you round up is that you now are over that 1. Because if I go 1 tick more and put the 9th keyword in there, I now have gone over my 1%. Okay? So you need to stay under 1%. And 9.9% to 1%, I'm happy with that. So we're going to go with 8. All right? When you go through this page, a variant of the word mover should be on this page, because I'm looking at it and I went with movers. I actually have a mistake on this page. I'm going to change this to mover services. Okay? But if you start to look through it, you'll see that movers is in there probably right at nine times. Okay? Yes.
Okay, so if you start making changes to the page that you say you have, it's 600 or 700, and you start adding, or you start changing or deleting words, I'm always worried that I'm messing up momentum that I've already created.
Okay, so here's the first question I have. Does the page rank? the page doesn't rank at all, you're not messing up any momentum. So if the page doesn't rank, I don't care.
Okay.
But take somebody like Trips to Italy. That page actually ranks. It
Right.
ranked at number 11. If I mess it up and do it wrong, what's going to happen?
It's gonna go down.
I'm going to lose a number 11. The good news is I didn't mess it up. I actually am now number 7.
Okay.
Oh.
So what we're going to do is I had to go back in. I had to figure out where I was on that page. And do you want me to pull up the page that I'm talking about, the honeymoon page, so you can see what I did? Okay, so this is the main honeymoon topic page, which I'm going to tell you is a little bit deceiving because this page is actually longer than the 895 I've just given you. Why would I make a page topic page longer than the parameters that I just insisted were the parameter?
Did you still stay within the 1%?
No, not even close. I think I'm at 1,600 words. So why would I jump out much further than the number I just gave you?
Where that page would rank.
Basically, you have that right. What I did is I also had to go back in, and this is a little bit beyond this group right now. We'll talk about this at a later date. But what I did is I went and looked at what the word count was on the people that were ranking in the top 10 that were kind of like I was. So if I look at Italian honeymoons, Costco is sitting there. I can't compete with Costco. There's no earth that I can compete with Costco on. So I threw Costco out of my evaluation. There was several more there. The average of those pages were about 1,600 words per home page on the people that ranked in the top 10 that were equal to myself. Travelocity is not equal to myself. Costco is not equal to myself. Probably Expedia was there. They're not equal. So does everybody understand that these mega monolith sites, don't count them. Okay? Stay in your lane when you evaluate a page. There's a lot of ways to evaluate a page, but if I'm just going to look at it on surface thing, I'm going to say this page is 1,800, this page is 1,800, this page is, everybody's 1,800. I guess my page should be 1,800. Okay? So that's why when I show you this page, you're going to go, well, wait, you just told me 895. I want you at 895 without the research. Okay? Because that's a safe place for you to be. All right? But if we get on something competitive like Italian honeymoons, we need to be a little bit more cognizant. All right. But local accountant doesn't have that problem. Local accountant doesn't have that problem. Local apartment complex doesn't have that problem. Local George doesn't have that problem. So you see, like IT services for Houston,
Right.
you don't have that Costco behemoth.
Right.
Moving Guy has that because what they use is Yelp. So I have to throw Yelp out. There's what's the home services one? There's another one there that's got HomeVisor. Yeah, there's HomeVisors there. So I have to throw that one out. So on the Moving Guy, although he's local, these national sites showed up still there. Okay, so first thing you see, I used Italy honeymoons. That's what we're talking about. Italy honeymoon is right here. I made sure that my main keyword was sitting in the H1 tag. So whatever that says up there made its way here. I also decided in my head that the word packages would give me a lesser keyword maybe to rank on. So I put the word packages there because I wanted to maintain that. Okay? What I'm talking about doing is basically writing a page, creating a page based on need, not based on what I want to say. Okay? Does everybody kind of get that? Mm-hmm. So what I did is then I outlined what types of honeymoons we had, what was an ideal honeymoon. And if you notice, that honeymoon word is reinforced through all the subheadings. Write that down because that's another thing that you need to do. That again is based on average of competitors, but it can run anywhere from 2 to 10 times. Okay, depending on how many subheads you need to put in. All right.
Keyword repeated in the subhead.
You see it? It's Italy honeymoon, custom Italy honeymoon.
Is that not 1%?
Yes, but I'm also putting it, I'm serving double duty. This page ended up being less than 1% because it's 1,800 words. All right, so I have a little bit more play when I'm talking 1% on 1,800 because I now have 18 words that I can put in there. I double dutied them into romantic Italy honeymoon. It's like basically in every headline. But then I stopped and I went to where I can go, and I didn't put honeymoon in Rome, honeymoon in Venice. I didn't want to go overboard. So I didn't put it down here, but then here it is back, and then the types of honeymoon packages that we offer. So you see that it's all there? Everybody kind of get that. So everybody understand what I did from that standpoint. All right, so that's 1%. One H1 tag, that's your headline at the top of your page. If you're using WordPress, it does that for you automatically. Everything else should be H2s or H3s. Okay, so, and then balance that out as best as you possibly can. So remember I told you that I wrote these pages for what my future needs would be? Okay, everybody heard me say that this was written for future needs. If you look here, I have the future needs here because I'm going to have Roman honeymoons, Venice honeymoons, Florence honeymoons, Cinque Terre, and so on down the line. The ones that are already hyperlinked are because those pages are written. The ones that are not are because those pages are not. Okay, so everybody understand this is a great example because it's actually a work in progress and it's not completed. All right. Beyond that, I then have, these will be my 3 subtopics. That's built into the page too. You actually have to have the presence of mind to know this before you can actually write the page. All right? I think that's something that I don't know that I've ever said before, and not in that way. At least for the attribute of a topics page. What else I'm going to say before we leave this page, because this is back. Does everybody understand what I mean when I say the word anchor text? And if you don't, stick your hand up and I'll explain it to you. Anchor text? You know what that means? Okay. All right. If you look here, this page here is anchor text, and it says Italy honeymoon package. What page do you think on the website that page is pointing to?
Subtopics.
Yes, but what particular subtopic?
Honeymoon package.
Italy honeymoon packages, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so what I just did when I did that, by writing that, because that sentence could read, at Trips to Italy, our goal is to create a romantic vacation that is unique to your love.
Now you can press on it.
I actually had the presence of mind to write in the keyword that I wanted to link to my Italy honeymoon package page. I put that in that text right there because I wanted it there, because I wanted to link to the Italy package page. I wanted it to do it in the first paragraph. I know that I have it here, but I wanted it there. And you notice what I did is I didn't hook up the word honeymoon to anything else. I only hooked up this one because I don't want to go overkill. I don't want to start lighting up everything that I possibly can think of. I have to only do the ones that make sense. Go ahead, Tom.
But aren't you on that page?
Yes, but when you link to this, it actually goes to the package page. And now here's another one. And then if you see what I did, okay, this is not necessarily a topics page. We put enough information for Google to get there to know what they have. This page is more in that 800 range like we talked about, okay? And then here's my honeymoons underneath it. They understand that these are navigation points and that these are not counted the same way. So they look at these almost as products. But what they do know is that when I put an Italy vacation package, and there's this many Italy vacation packages on it, it's a really safe bet to them that it's Italy vacation package. And if they're unsure, there's other pages on my website that have Italy honeymoon package that's pointing at that. any page that I write about an Italy vacation for here on out forevermore will have a link at times to the word Italy honeymoon. Okay? And that needs to be my first core word so that I know that whatever page I write on this website, if I can work that in and it works for that, I need to include it. And I pick 1 or 2 pages on my website to link it to. It used to be we would tell you, put it in there 5 times, go find 5 pages that you can create interlinking to, blah, 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 blah. That's really not the way anymore. We need to almost focus power on the pages that we want to rank. We talk about external links, and I don't want to get on an external link discussion at the moment, but these internal links have value too. So if I take a page, what you don't want to do is go trips to Italy and point it back to the homepage, trips to Italy and point it back to the homepage, or trips to Italy and point it back to the homepage. I'm okay with defining trips to Italy as a word that I want to rank on throughout that website, and every time it comes up, find pages that meet that criteria and spread that out a little bit and spread the link equity out. But as far as honeymoons, all honeymoon pages that anytime we mention honeymoon, it should always link back to the top level topic on honeymoon. Everybody understand what I just said? But what I did is I created the content in a manner that supports the objectives of the website. Okay. I need you guys to start to think about what are not ancillary keywords, but core keywords that would surround Italy honeymoon packages. So it might be honeymoon to Rome, it might be honeymoon to Venice, it may be romantic honeymoon, it may be, it may just be bride and groom, okay? Because a honeymoon can be a bride and a groom too, right? You would need some manner of that combination to reach that, correct? Okay. So what I'm then gonna say is inside that page that I just asked you to write topically, I'm going to tell you I want to see 5% of these related core concepts to honeymoons. I don't want related core concepts to the website. I want related core concepts to honeymoons, which would be Rome, Venice. If you notice, I already have them sort of written in there so that when they're coming off a honeymoon page, Google would expect to see a Roman honeymoon or a Rome honeymoon. So the word Rome is not disproportionate to that page, correct? If I was going to write a page about web hosting, you might see disk space and MySQL and email service and email boxes. They're not all web hosting, cheap web hosting, affordable web hosting. It's not that. These are words that are sort of related that you would see. You may put the word bridal suite. That would be something that we would, part of your vacation package is getting a bridal suite. Well, that is one of that 5% related words that you would expect to see on a page about honeymoons. You might see, even the word gondola might be available. But I want 5% of those related type words in there, okay? Sometimes that's a little bit harder to pick out. I recognize that, but I think if we kind of put our thinking caps on, we can kind of come up with it. You're an apartment complex. You might want to see, you might say my extra words would be something like 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, swimming pools, concierge services, backdoor services, package services. Okay, those would be things that I would relate with an apartment complex. I wouldn't say landscaping services because that would not be congruent to a apartment complex. And what I wouldn't do, and this is a mistake that I see, people try to be, I'm going to use the phrase cutesy. They try to go in and say, well, gone are the days of having to be the weekend warrior and mow your lawn, go live in an apartment. You've just confused Google, because what does lawn mowing have to do with living in an apartment? Not one blessed thing. I know it sounds really cute for you to go say all of this. Awesome. But you've just now confused your page.
It's like colloquialism.
Yeah, well, and there's colloquialisms that work, and then there's colloquialisms that you're too cute.
Yeah,
Right,
so
because there's no relation.
There's no relation. So you need to think in relation. You don't need to think in these. I get so mad when I see them, to be quite honest with you. They make me insane. And every time I see them, I'm out there with the red pen saying, these need to come out of all articles. I do not want to see these in a page again. Because it's diluting the value of my page. Because at the end of the day, folks, writing is writing, but in Google's world, writing is mathematics. So I know that sounds like two unrelated topics, but in this particular, if I feed in the right information, I will be rewarded on the outflow. So I don't want to paint the picture that if you did this all 100% right, that it's still going to be okay, because there's other factors. But this is the greatest building block of all. If I write my content right, I set my content up right, I put my percentages in right, I put my anchor text in, so I have that internal link structure, okay? And things get encapsulated back, that my power goes to certain pages on my website. Now, if this page started to rank number 1, let's say, on Italy honeymoons, what do you think the next thing I would do would be? Anybody want to take a shot at that? This page is number 1. The answer is not nothing. The answer is I would then pick a different page that I would want to have. So I might go Italy. What is the next most trafficked word on Italy honeymoons? Pick that and then pick its page. So then I now have this one cemented. I don't have to do it all the time. I can do some to this one and some to that one. Okay? I know to balance this out, and I would encourage you guys as you got more pages. Now, it's very hard to do this when you only have 2 or 3 pages on your website. At some point, you need to sit down on a Saturday after you have 100 pages on your website and start thinking about how to better link them together. So the next topic that we're going to talk about is a straight up article. Okay, so what is the purpose of an article? Now, we've heard me talk about article and article writing forever. Will you agree with that sentence? Yeah, okay. Those pages support these subtopics, or these topics and subtopics. The subtopics pages have the same characteristics, so I don't need to keep going through the exercise. As you come down through that navigation tree, you're going to have a page for every page that's going to be on that tree that's going to meet this criteria. But underneath that, I may need some article pages to help support that. When I wanted to rank on Web Design Houston, okay, I didn't just write a page on web design. I wrote a page about web design in Houston. So why would I do that instead of just web design? Because I wanted to pick up local search, and I wanted to pick up the Houston search and the word Houston in the organic searches. Okay, so I had to put them underneath that web design tree and then interlink them properly. You see how I have it here? I have this honeymoon choices goes back to what page?
The honeymoon.
The honeymoon package page or the honeymoon main page?
Of the package. Yeah.
Honeymoon packages page. I don't want to send it back to the home page. I sent it back to the master because I want this page to rank second to the main honeymoons page.
So that's your subtopic.
So this is a subtopic underneath. So if I come back up,
Italy honeymoon.
it's a subtopic under Italy honeymoons. It absolutely is. So what I did is I made, so you see, and I actually I've got several different ones here. This is our honeymoons. That goes to that honeymoon page I told you. And then I have the bigger trip that is also the Italian vacation ideas, which is the main services menu under the Italian vacations. So I encapsulated both of them on this page. But off the vacations page, because I have to keep like items together, I actually took the packages page and interconnected all the packages, with the package being the top level. So I didn't go all the way up to the top. I went to just the top in that category. Does everybody understand what I just said and how I did that? Article page appears and is written about a topic or subtopic, okay? And it needs to be isolated and focused on whatever your subtopic is. When I say an article, this is what I mean. Now you do see there's some words in there. Remember I told you those core principles that I want written in a page? you'll see that some of them appear in here because it would be remiss to talk about digital marketing without calling out SEO, content marketing, digital, social media, okay? So a parameter, and you also see that I have digital marketing here that goes back to the main digital marketing page. So that also appeared in the text. All right, those are done purposefully. I think this is that art that nobody understands when I say write a page, write an article, put a keyword in it, understand what you're doing. So when I say write these core words down, the first place that somebody asked me the other day is, how do I know what the core is? Well, if you have a built out navigation on a website, guess what you know? What the core is. Because you already defined that when you put your mind map together, right? Does everybody get what I'm saying then? All right. So, but what I will say is that sometimes my goals do not necessarily always match the navigation. So therefore, you may find that you have 20 or 30 words and you only have 11 words on your navigation. That's something you're going to have to do and decide on a business owner. You may want to put tax help, but underneath you might want to put audits, okay? And audits may not be something that you just want to put the word audit on your navigation on, okay? But underneath it, you know that whenever you can work in the word audit, you have a page on your website that's about audit somewhere, so you point it to it, okay? So that would be an example of that. Article parameters, 1,000 words minimum, all right? 1%. I'm going to say 1% on the related topic words as well, or your core words, okay? So try to stick with about 1% of whatever you end up with. Don't throw a whole bunch of gobbledygook in the page just to say, hey, wait, I can add this, and hey, wait, I can add this, and hey, wait, I can... Just that's kind of overdoing it. So just kind of stay around the 1%. Articles always support topics or subtopics. All right. So when I say write an article, what I'm finding I'm having to do now is define for the end user what type of page I want. So far we've got 2 covered, right? So we understand what the article is.